I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is episode 11 of Speedrun, a series of videos in which I measure the journey from complete beginner to Carcassonne master using my second secret undercover account on Board Game Arena. That's right, the series is back in full capacity, and we will be picking up right where we left last year with 572 rating points, so 128 points to go until the magic threshold of 700. I'm gonna go ahead and create a table. We're playing against a player from Thailand now, and I'm not exactly sure if I've played them before. I think I might have played them with my main account, and they might be an expert anyway, but I'm not that well familiar with them, so your guess is as good as mine. We're playing the green meeples here, and a bit of a different tile layout design that I'm used to. Right, so what do we do here? Restricting the city cap makes the most sense, taking 2 quick points. Our opponent has the starting player advantage, the monastery, and now they pick up the city cap regardless. Yeah, it's a very good start for them, although I do get the 2 points on the scoreboard. I definitely need to meeple a monastery here. Where exactly? So we could go here. That'll be 3 points and controlling a potential loop road. Or we could go here and control our opponent's monastery a little bit. I like going for the loop here, actually, because there's some good scenarios that can happen for us. For example, after this loop road is completed, this will expose a square against our opponent's city, and they're playing something really smart, actually. So they're sacrificing a point just to make it harder to build up my monastery. Normally, I don't like moves like these, but actually here in this position, it works pretty well. So what can I do? Starting a new city seems fine. Also prolonging my monastery indirectly. And now I'm about to do something weird. So I can't go really here. I could, but then my monastery becomes a bit too vulnerable, right? So let's say I do this, and they can block me pretty easily. It's actually not such a big deal, given the fact that there's still all kinds of tiles available, all starting tiles, all triple cities, and so on. I could also go here and meeple the city. The problem with that is that it leaves a 4-point loop available for grabs. I could also meeple the 4-point loop myself, but I really don't like giving away this city. Well, actually, it's not that bad. They can meeple the city, then maybe I get to invade, but no, the tile is just too juicy. So it seems to me that giving back the 4-point loop could be the way to go, actually. Yeah, I wish I had the Phantom expansion where you can meeple 2 things at once, but it's not possible. Okay, let's look at this again. Any straight line is a restriction. No, there's just too many restriction tiles. I think we have to go for something like this. Now, loop or city. Let's go for the city. Well, they will be scoring for the loop, but that's fine because they'll be leaving an empty city cap open. And I can pick that city cap right up. So, of course, this is the ideal placement of the tile, but now that the city cap is here, I have to do something like this. Yeah, it looks decent to me. And then our goal will be just really trying to run away with a big city. Okay, so they connect the roads surrounding their monastery. We're 10 points behind on the scoreboard, but I get a lovely monastery for stacking, and it's actually quite easily goes over here, pre-building a loop roads, which they can meeple, yes, but it will be helping building up my monastery. They go for that road instead. Interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It shouldn't be such a big deal, because if they connect with a loop, I will have time to reconnect back, and the road is not that long in the first place. So we should ignore that road. But what should we do about our monastery? So I can build it up like this, or I can just meeple the loop myself. I could even do something like this, although that it makes it a bit too vulnerable. I am getting a bit short on meeples, so pre-finishing a monastery seems nice. And also if I go here, I help Red's monastery a little bit too much. That is a bit annoying. But if I go here, I kill off a monastery spot. Because I want to be getting another monastery and meepling it like right over there. This is an interesting opening, and really some tough choices here for green. So what do we do? Yeah, I hate helping their monastery as well. How about we do this and ignore the loop? That actually could be interesting. And then we get ourselves another monastery spot. And a potential road that we can finish with a crossroads. Maybe that is not bad. The question is, do we meeple this road or not? I also am starting to get too worried, you know, because like if we finish the city, then this square gets a bit vulnerable. So we have to play a move, and I'm gonna go here. They of course connect the roads. I'm not sure if I played the best move there, but it seems to be okay. I could do something like this. No, I shouldn't. I should just really get a meeple back. Now, some monastery squares are exposed next to me. Ouch, 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 ouch. Yeah, they can make a very painful move. But they don't. They make another move, which is not that painful. They're trying to connect to my city, which is really annoying. Yeah, you know, maybe I rushed this turn a little bit. Maybe actually I didn't have to get a meeple back. Maybe the way to go was first to fill up that hole in the monastery and then do that other thing. Well, anyway, you know what? It's actually not a big deal because I don't have to fill that square. If they're happy to keep their meeple trap with 1 point whilst I have 8 points for the monastery and 8 points for the ruin, essentially, it's not going to be a problem. So let's start farming here. Seems like a standard way to go. I didn't think this through, if I'm completely honest, as per the exact placement of that tile, but this is what we're doing, and now I guess I have to place my last meeple in a city. I know, not ideal, but what you gonna do? I'm not passing up city caps just because of that. Okay, they take the monastery spot next to my monastery, but it's actually a huge relief because positionally it's just great for me. I can get myself some meeples back soon enough. I could get a meeple back now, but this move is so tempting where I get to continue my city and restrict their city. That would be a bit too irresponsible, though. I do need meeples back, like, right now. And they do get their city. So they don't drop a farmer, which appears to be a mistake here, because the field is way, way, way too good to ignore. I wonder if I finish my monastery now or not. I don't think I do. Well, it's a tricky decision. If I just go here, then I relinquish a lot of city points, but I do get a meeple back, and meeples could be important for the field fight. And then this mini battle that I'm getting in the city really doesn't matter that much. I could also go here and try to block that square myself, but the problem with that is that this city can still expand, so the value of blocking their city with just 1 point is not great. So I'm actually going to go ahead and sacrifice a few points here, simply to get meeples back sooner. This is not a move that I would normally play, but in this particular position, just because the field is going to be so important, I really want to have meeples rather than points. 6 points behind on the scoreboard, ain't a big deal. I can continue my monastery and road. They're likely to equalize their monastery with mine. Ooh, is that good though? They drop a farmer, which makes a lot of sense. But I would have done this. Like, they had a much stronger move, which I didn't see. They could have gone over here and dropped a farmer like this, sort of pre-building a road going through the monastery and so on and all that good stuff. But they didn't do this. So I can actually drop a farmer myself in response. I can even do it here. next to their monastery. That could even be a bit stronger. I could just get a meeple back, but there's not so much value in doing this just yet, because I will be also helping their monastery. I think I'm gonna do this and make it a bit harder for them to build a monastery. They connect to the farm. I could do the same in theory, but I don't want to. I'd rather that they connect me themselves. I can't drop a farmer with this tile. I could go for the city attack here, actually. Or I could do something like this, restricting their monastery. There's merit in doing this. I think I want to just put a little bit of pressure here. There's some scenarios where I get a positive result out of this. Yeah, and really the plan for this game would be just to develop a big field and win. Okay, so that's we already get some good results, because they forced to spend a good tile on just defending the shared city from invasion. What do we do here? Do we go here and develop our city? Do we just take a meeple back? If we take a meeple back, then what are we putting over here? The time controls are really tough. Okay, I want to be a bit more aggressive here and use the shield tile for my own city. And then the road we can still finish with plenty of road ends. Yeah, you know, really need to get used to playing at this speed. Need to do some tile tracking as well. They dropping a second farmer, which is a good move from them. I still don't want to connect. I'd rather just keep building my road. Oh, you know what? I could also build this indirectly, actually. Although, no. It doesn't really hurt them that much. So they're equalizing my road. That's so interesting. I will hope to prevent that and also get myself some quick city points. Okay, so this is exactly what we wanted. Yes, they get, of course, their 8 monastery points, but they connect me to the farm, so I don't have to spend a tile on it. Now I get a meeple back from the city, and I'm also threatening to block their monastery and use that extra meeple for the field fight in the future. And they're still yet to connect their meeple on the left. Even though there's still plenty of tiles to do so, for example, the 4 vanilla city caps. Okay, so let's start by blocking their monastery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's still 2 curves remaining, so there's value in doing that. And then our plan is to finish the city at the top as soon as possible and get an extra meeple back. Yeah, you see, so they're also experiencing a meeple shortage, which is great news. I'm catching up on the scoreboard with quick points. But so do they. Oh, no, they connect to the field. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. But now I'm going to set up a sneaky move. I'm going to take 2 points, slightly restricting their monastery. And the idea behind this move is that I want to get a straight line, which will give me a meeple back without giving them a meeple back, because this square will be blocked, given that there's only 1 dagger tile remaining that fits there. If you can't visualize this, then just wait and see until it happens, and then you're going to get the idea. Okay, so they do get a dagger tile, and now they need to find a very difficult move. Yeah, not these 4 points. What they had to do, they had to take that dagger tile and go over here and drop a farmer like this and try to connect through the straight line. Because now, because this last dagger tile has been drawn, now that I go over here and get my meeple back from their monastery is completely trapped because no tile fits anymore. This was the last one of its kind. Okay, so this is suddenly starting to go a little bit better. So what are we having? We are ahead on the scoreboard, 5 points. We're about to finish a city, which is very nice for us. They are making a mistake by just completing a shared feature, or rather prolonging a shared feature. They have 16 points for the monasteries, but I should be able to outscore that and use my meeples for farm invasions. I could go here. This is actually a really strong move. It's a very difficult connection to block. But I'd rather actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd rather go here, as weird as it may seem, and then I'm gonna have 2 routes for invading the field. And it's difficult to block both routes, so I can either go here or I can go here. So they finish a shared city, which really does not make a lot of sense. So maybe this is a newer player playing. And they spend a meeple on a 3-point field, which is really great news for me. I'm just going to continue with this idea, trying to connect to the field. This connection is actually quite tricky to block. And then once I get a majority on the field, the situation should be harder for them. Okay, that's actually a great new move from them. They block the other access route into the field. I could protect my field connection here a little bit, but I don't want to. I'd rather just score, to be honest. I could go here, but this disrupts my city. Is it crazy to drop another farmer here? I think a little bit. It seems to be a bit of an overreaction. Actually, this move is really not that bad. Well, there are 2 curves remaining. But there's also a straight line. Yeah, I'd rather they just spend a move on restricting me if they want to do that. Now they're probably going to drop a farmer somewhere. Yeah, my construction on the project on the right appears to be a bit too ambitious, as I'm not seeing if I can complete that city at all. Or actually I can, you know, there are still starting tiles available. Well, 1 starting tile available. Okay, they're starting a new city in my fields. I guess it makes some sense. They're trying to set up a blocking platform to block this here field connection. Now what do? Do I just score? Because I'm already 16 points ahead on the scoreboard, and I have multiple meeples, so I'm already outpacing their monasteries. I could drop more farmers, but I don't think I have to. I could score 4 points here, but I'd rather do something like this maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 2 big tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a lot of Doritos as well available, actually. So why don't we do something like this? Setting up some more Doritos. Yeah, I think that these 4 points can wait a little bit. They take 3 points. And now probably it's a good idea to complete the fields connection, although I really want to be using city tiles as city tiles, but it's just so good for me to get that field majority. And this connection is easily blockable. So for example, they had a blocking tile in hand, which they could have used. And since they only have meeple, they cannot win the field. They can only equalize the field, which they're trying to do. They're hoping to finish that city with a city cap and drop a farmer. And I have no way of preventing that. So what can I do? I can go here, Meeple Monastery, or actually go here, Meeple Monastery, because that eliminates a fields connection platform. I can go here and drop a farmer. No, that's a bit of an overreaction. Let's just go here and simply keep scoring. It's a 6-point monastery, as good as it gets. Yeah, so now they're in desperation mode. They're trying to connect through the outside of a curve, the so-called ninja farmer. And I see that there's at least 1 city cap remaining, so they can finish their city, and of course I'm not going to allow to do that. There are multiple city caps available, in fact. Okay, so I'm ahead 15. And all we need to do is just not lose the field, but losing the field is impossible because they can only equalize the field. They won't be able to use any more meeples. So what do? I guess we just meeple a road. The point in meepling a road is that if they connect to the field, they will be forced to prolong my road and give me points. Oh, look at this, but they don't even get a tile to do that. Now, time for my high scoring move. Well, their last tile should be a curve, if I'm not mistaken. So then they will connect to the field after all. Oh no, look at this. I did miscount again. So from their perspective, they were no curved remaining, but just different kinds of curvy tiles. So I will win this game with a big difference. Maybe a bit bigger than it was representative as to the closeness of this game. Most of the time, of course, they would succeed in connecting to the field, so they should have like 19 more in most runouts. 30 point is the difference, yeah. Okay, so let's see. What was their actual rating? .452, yeah, so almost an expert, which makes sense. They actually, I think, played very well, like, at the start. Then in the middle, they just made a few passive moves, like over here, just finishing a shared city, using some good tiles to score 0 points. And I made some questionable decisions as well, but ended up working out as a result of meeple management. Yeah, you know what? I think the thing that I did manage well in this game was in fact a bit of unconventional meeple management, because I ended up sacrificing a lot of points just to get a meeple back, because the position was such that there was this big field, and if only I can maintain the control of that, then the game should not be too difficult to win for green from that point. Anyway, but a tough opening, tough opening. Definitely a fight there. In any case, we get ourselves the 7 points, and we're going to jump in right into the second game today. And I'm paired up against a Swiss player now, with whom I do not remember playing with my main account. And this time we get the starting player advantage, and we also get the red meeples, which is, I guess, a bit more convenient for viewers. And 4 points it is, but a great tile for them, a road monastery, and already a slight imprecision. It is actually better to meeple the road monastery like this, controlling the road that goes through that monastery. But now they're just simply giving me back that road. And I guess this is the move that I have to play. It's important to point that road downwards, because if I point it upwards, there can be some scenarios where I can draw a city plus road tile, and then the game will force me to accidentally help my opponent. I drop an early farmer here. It has a lot of green squares. I have 8 points on the scoreboard, and now I get a splitter tile to expand my field. They get a second monastery for stacking. It's a lovely position for them. I can't really do all that much about those monasteries. So we're just going to build up a field. We're also creating an alternative monastery spot. And now I draw a tile which is quite difficult for me to play. So I'm sort of paying the price for blocking my own road end. But there were some reasons for this. Well, I guess I just have to try and block them. I could also do this. It's really not that crazy. But I think I prefer going here. Now, do I meeple anything? That's the question. I don't think I do in this instance. We're obviously trying to put some pressure, and they now defend, well, the wrong square, I believe. Definitely the square at the bottom is a bit more critical for them and more blockable. There is some merit in defending the top square as well. Let's just go ahead and attack that. Well, they successfully defended the bottom. But now I'll be right there. And now, do I drop a second farmer there? Is that crazy? I don't think it's actually crazy, because if they get the dagger, then the field becomes big enough. Yeah, I think it's fine. Could be a bit unnecessary, but whatevs. Now they will meeple the city, which I would love to attack. But this tile that I hold has so much blocking potential. I could go here and eliminate a monastery spot. But I'd rather go here and make it impossible for them to continue their monastery without helping my city. The reason why I'm meepling that city is it is for insurance, because if they do get the dagger tile that fits into that square early enough, then they won't be able to meeple my city, and I will get 6 points for the city if they so choose. Now, if this square is blocked, then it is lovely for me because they will be losing 2 meeples, whereas I will be losing only 1. But they don't mind because they just keep scoring points for other cities. And I have to block further. I now have to block here and try and eliminate the monastery spot that they have. Of course, they immediately get a defense tile, but that's okay because they will at least not be getting a monastery that goes there. They'll be getting a curve that goes there. They're also defending it quite smartly. Now, of course, it's time to invade my opponent's city before it gets a little bit too big. We're also leaving a city cap here for future blocking. The idea behind this move is that if somebody, whether it's blue or red, gets a city cap that fits over here, this will expose this blocking platform that can be used against this square. Okay, lovely. So we get a connection tile that fits here. But I'd rather use it here to start obstructing my opponent's city. The question is, do we meeple it or do we not? And I think with only 2 meeples in hand, we actually don't meeple it. And then later we're going to try and put some pressure on these squares. So now, for example, I don't think I'm even going to bother going over here because there's still plenty of tiles that fit into that square. I'd rather just start and exert more pressure against my opponent's city. But they do get a dagger tile immediately, and they choose to use it to relieve their monastery, which actually is quite good for me because this means that they will continue my city and they will not be able to continue their city soon enough. I get a monastery which I sadly have to meeple, and I will be spending my last meeple here, but that is totally worth it. They now try to block my city a little bit, but I have too many cities. It's not possible to block all of them. So one of these guys gets free. I'm still ahead on the scoreboard. It's a decent position that I have here, and they now start attacking the field through my monastery. I'm never going to let them in. And even if I do, I have another farmer pending. So I could go here and start blocking their city actually, but I kind of want to go here first to score points and then set up a loop that goes through this square. And well, maybe I'm overthinking it. Anyway, so they now subject their city to a block so that's a bit impatience from them. Of course, I'm going to make sure that they never get that meeple back. And now that we get this cow tile, this horse tile, we can go over here and actually threaten a real block against their city. This will also block in my farmer, but my farmer, unlike that city, has the potential to grow. Okay, so not a lot of use for this tile. Obviously, I have to connect here at the bottom to equalize my 1 point with their 5 points. Note that this move here would be a terrible idea. We never want to be releasing their road for future expansion. So the only tile that we should be willing to place here is a city cap, and we will be patiently waiting for that. Some quick point opportunities for my opponent. And they get 4 points, and they also leave an 8-point city up for grabs, which we can't deal with at the moment. So the best that I can do is just continue my monastery, after which point I will decide whether I'm going to block that monastery myself or not. If they get a fantastic tile, which they can use to start a new city, yeah, they will be getting a lot of points on the scoreboard there. And my field is still kind of small. So I'm thinking, what should I do? Should I finish this city for 4 points? Or should I finish this city for 6? And then I also give them a road meeple for future expansion, but if they continue that road, they will be creating an attacking platform against their city at the bottom. And I still have some caps that go over here, but not that many. Okay, I have a splitcher, I have a vertical splitcher, I have 2 vanilla city caps. Oh, actually I have 2 more daggers like this. Yeah, so this tile definitely goes here. The meeple at the top is pretty safe. All a road monastery for my opponents. Really interesting to see what they do with it. Interesting. So they choose to just finish their road and not get a meeple back. Huh. I mean, and not meeple the monastery. That actually looks like a decent move. But then the field becomes really big, which benefits me more than it benefits them. I will now have all the incentive in the world to block my monastery so that the field's connection is blocked. But now they're threatening a really big thing. They're threatening to get a city cap at the bottom. Well, let me just do this. And drop a farmer. Like, they finish the city, drop a farmer. This is incredibly painful to deal with. And I wonder, is this the stage of the game where I do something like this? Where I actually give them city points simply to eliminate that threat? And I think this would be a bit of an overreaction. This is my first instinct. Yeah, this one actually really requires burning my time. Think. How many city caps actually are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So they have a really, really big threat of finishing their city right now. It's going to be 14 points in a farmer. I really hate that threat. You know what? Let's just not be crazy. I mean, we're behind on the scoreboard. I don't think we can actually afford to do stuff like this. And also, you know what? They don't even finish their city all the time. Sometimes we get a tile like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we have to invade, of course. Last meeple, but hey, what you gonna do? We really need to equalize that city, which is tough for us, as they get themselves a splitter tile. We get, of course, 4 points compensation, but they get to drop another farmer, and this is really, really just too much to deal with. I need to rather urgently block my monastery. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I just do this and let them connect through my monastery and give me a meeple back. Because I'm afraid of the scenario where they get to restrict the square, but then they get the farmer in regardless, and my monastery meeple is trapped. Well, I need to drop a farmer somewhere soon enough. I can't really block the farmer effectively that they have dropped. Yeah, and the position is starting to look pretty grim. Can I drop a farmer here? Nope, I can't. You know what? No. Fine, let's do this. Let's do this. For lack of a better move. I don't think we were lacking a better move, but we really have to just do something there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ouch, the time pressure. The time pressure is rough. Okay, let's just take some quick points. Really not used to playing at that speed there. Ouch! Well, they're just really relentless in meepling things. And I have to invade again with my last meeple. But I am the one who's more likely to get a meeple back soon enough. And then I'll just need to drop a couple more farmers somewhere. I'm not sure where exactly. Okay, so at the very least we get to do this. And now we can try blocking them a little bit. Yeah, this is really rough. Okay, I need to try and create some field connection platforms. There we go. That's the move here. I can later go at the top and invade. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I wish I had a meeple now, but let's just do this first. I urgently need to get myself a meeple. They give a meeple to me, and they also give a meeple to themselves, which is really, really not great. What can I do? I guess something like this to not let them finish yet another city. Yeah, they now block my road, or at least make it much more difficult to complete. Do I drop a farmer right now already? I don't think I can afford to do that. It still needs to score in addition to dropping a farmer. They're not exactly blocking my road, but they're definitely making it considerably more difficult to complete. Maybe it is the time to drop a farmer, though. Yeah, that platform is really good. But no, we have to score. We have to score. And with this tile, we can drop a farmer somewhere. They will probably... Yeah, they're doing this. Oh, wait. They're not dropping a farmer. Okay, okay. 1, 2, 3. So there's still starting tiles. Oh, no, there's no starting tiles remaining. So if I go here, it's actually a very blockable fields connection. But maybe I have to try. This is exceptionally grim. Think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 curves remaining. I will probably have to finish their city. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I think I have to go for it. Yeah, it is blockable, but there are not that many city tiles remaining, and they just so happen not to have a city tile. If they connect to the farm to get themselves more of a majority, then they are also giving me a meeple back to pursue one more farmer. Do we try and continue our city? I'm actually a little bit ahead. If only I managed to get the equality on the farm. I have a minute here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can go here and set up a connection through a straight line, I guess. But I also need the straight line here as well. Is there any point at all in going here? I don't think there is, actually. Let's go here and set up that connection and see what they do about that. They are now going to try and block me. But you know what I'm thinking? It is a bit unfortunate, but given my severe situation, the move that I have to play is probably here, because I need to get multiple farmers into the field, and I also need to get meeples back. Like, it's actually really grim. But here, given the fact that there's still 1 dagger remaining, if I'm not mistaken, at the very least, I'll be able to equalize the field if I get the dagger. I think I have to go for something like this and just hope for the last dagger. Because otherwise, I just simply don't get enough stuff. Let's hope I didn't miscount there. Welp. We're not getting in both farmers, so we will be losing this game. I will get the dagger, though. Yeah, so you saw that there were tiles actually available for us to win. I just needed to draw both of them. And I will be equalizing the field. The sad part is that I just simply don't have enough points on the scoreboard. So that's why I was reluctant to drop farmers too early, because I needed to both score and invade as well. There will be, of course, meepling the 5-point road. I have to connect to the field, of course, to get myself at least the equality. But because I'm finishing their city in the process, they will be getting some extra points. So, time to learn some lessons, I guess. £30 is the value of the field, and we lose with a 22-point difference. Yeah, so we just needed to score a little bit more. Our opponent was rated 300, but they played really well, I think, with that field. Just managing to get the field majority whilst I was busy doing something else. Yeah, tough to say what went wrong here. So maybe this meeple here was a bit, not necessarily misplaced, but misprioritized perhaps. Not sure if I should have made this move, although it's actually ended up being quite okay. So the reason why I was okay with saving their field connection, first of all, that was because I was able to reinvest that meeple as a farmer anyway. And second, that they had a little field on the left that was already worth 6 points. So their farmer had already justified itself. Maybe there was a spot where I could have been a bit more proactive with the field, or on the contrary, maybe this farmer was a little bit too early. Although it's really difficult to say that, because in many instances this farmer works just fine. Because the only reason why this farmer felt stranded a little bit was because their 2 cities were stranded. So it was 1 meeple blocked compared to 2 meeples of my opponent. So that was a good spot to be in. Yeah, really just need to learn to think quicker. That would be pretty much it. Okay, so what's the setback that we're having? The setback that we're having is 17 rating points, which is actually not that bad. But this will definitely prolong the series by a little bit more. Alrighty, last game of the day. And I'm playing against a Japanese player. I don't remember ever seeing them, but we know that in Japan, players are born with 500 ELO. So they have to be good. And they get the starting player advantage. And I'm stuck with green meeples again. 4 points for my opponent. And we get to start a new city. They will probably invade. Well, at least they should. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's a clear mistake. There is no reason to be doing this. So they will be finishing a 4-point city, and I will be finishing a 6-point city. Maybe they're trying to block my meeple in the future, but at this stage of the game, it's just so unlikely. Okay, they equalize my monastery. And I think it is an excellent spot for an early farmer. I want to go here to harass their city a little bit. And also to build up my road a little bit, which is going to go through my monastery. They, of course, immediately equalize. And they're also starting to put some pressure on my meeple there. On my city. Now, the question is, do we just start a new city or do we go over here? If we ignore that spot, then they draw a curve and they restrict this square towards 2 daggers because one of the 3 daggers has already been drawn. But then after that, they're going to need to spend 2 more moves to block it permanently. If I go over here, this gives me 10 tiles that fit into this square, but then they could go here and block this permanently. But 10 tiles is just really a large number of tiles. So this move, with a meeple on the road, by the way, appears to be correct. But now I am going to suffer a little bit, or maybe not. Look at this. So the quadruple city tile is discarded, which is going to negate my player's starting, which is going to negate my opponent's starting player advantage. Let's just advise them in the chat that big city tile discarded, because this is the polite thing to do in the competitive Carcassonne scene. Now this, of course, is the move. The question is, do we meeple the city here? So if we meeple the city, it is a form of insurance against them getting a starting tile, which still fits in the square, and then they can block my meeple regardless. If that happens, at the very least, I'm going to have a 6-pointer for myself. The downside of this move is that there's sometimes scenarios how both of my meeples get blocked, but it actually doesn't happen very often. So I'm going to go ahead and place a meeple here. We get the starting tile, which we obviously are not going to use in that square. I'm not going to help my opponent. I'm just going to start a new city whilst also continuing my loop road. Now we get a super interesting tile. And I really wonder where they're going to go. They just continue their monastery, which surprises me. It's a perfectly decent move. It's maybe even the best move. But they have shown that they're willing to go for blocking moves a bit more aggressively than most players. So I figured that they could maybe go somewhere here instead. Alright, what do we do? So this tile fits really nicely in one of those squares, but does it really actually? Ideally, I want an extender here and a vanilla city cap here. I could do something like this and build a bigger city. But I don't think I want to do that. I could also do this, I guess. But then I get blocked in some scenarios. So I think actually I do this. Yeah, and look, and they just finished my city for me, which actually makes some sense. So that I don't get to finish a larger city. And we're having ourselves a pretty big field fight as a result. Yeah, I know that had I placed the tile where it belongs, I would have gained the splitter and now would have, you know, finished that lovely city and all in all, but this was not the only possible outcome, so I still stand by my previous move. Here seems to be the way to go. I don't think I want to be doing this. And meepling the city cap, it's a bit dangerous. Sometimes I get my meeple blocked, but it really doesn't happen very often. And I'm also setting up a big threat of finishing one of my cities with a city cap and then dropping a farmer. Okay, straight line for me. Easy decision. Continue my monastery. They get an extender tile with no particularly good use for it, which is great. They can start a new city somewhere, but regardless of where they started, that city is going to be vulnerable. Yeah, they make... Whoa. No, well, yeah, that is a very, very vulnerable city. So I'm going to go ahead and try blocking it, of course, whilst also building up my own city. There are some ways how this could cost me. For example, if they get a Dorito tile, and then they can block this square whilst also blocking, well, not necessarily blocking, but tying my meeple to this blocked square. But if that were to happen, I guess I still have a splitter to bail out from here or to here, and there's simply no better move. So I just simply have to hope that they don't do it. It's as simple as this. Also note that many starting tiles have gone out, and there's only one remaining. So this square is in fact almost blocked regardless, but now we need to start covering up our cities and try and get myself some meeples back. I know that I could have used this crossroad tile to finish my city on the right, but that's not the priority there. Yeah, they of course are trying to block. There's still plenty of tiles that fit into that square. Now I get to get a meeple back. And look at this. I'm going to be getting a lot of meeples back, but they get the last remaining starting tile, so now their meeple becomes a threat again. I get to go over here, and of course I'm going to drop a farmer. It is a lucrative farming platform. In fact, you know what? They had to drop a farmer on their... Well, I'm not sure if they had to. Yeah, I don't think they had to drop a farmer there, because it is not very often that they do get that starting tile. So with this square empty, this farming platform does not have a lot of prospects. But now that it is connected to this square, this farmer is just excellent. I'm also 10 points ahead on the scoreboard somehow. They're blocking a little bit. Well, they're just blocking the opportunity to score 4 points for a road with the crossroads, which makes some sense. What do we do here? I want to be blocking something, maybe. Or just, you know, connecting to their city, not allowing them easy city points. I could also do something like this, but I don't like the prospect of them getting multiple city caps and finishing their city. I could also do something like this, setting up a Dorito tile that would block their monastery. That actually would be pretty strong. But you know what? The city on the left is a bit too much of a threat to ignore completely. So let me just do this first. Now we know that the Dorito idea, actually it wouldn't have worked because they got themselves a curved tile anyway to build up their monastery. They now do this, and now it's a big question. Like, do I even want to go here? Because if I do, then they can use the platform at the top to reconnect. It might be worth taking the risk actually here. I could also do something like this and try to go for a blocking move. It is more annoying than it might seem. I could also do something like this and attack the city with a second meeple, but that might be a bit too crazy at this stage. I really hate giving back that reconnection platform. You know what? I think I'm gonna go for this first. It's a bit weird looking move, but it has more merit than initially meets the eye. Because I'm threatening to get my road meeple back without them getting their monastery meeple back, and that would be great. That's a smart move from them. Trying to block my road, or rather restrict it to a 50-50. Now with this tile, it is super tempting to go here and try and take over that city, to the point that I'm probably gonna do it. Yeah, blockable, but you know, whatever. We can't play scared. And even if we do get blocked, which now looks increasingly likely, I can still get a splitter at the top to bail out. So I can go here for an indirect defense, but they're still going to have a lot of blocking tiles after this. So I'd rather do something like this. I want to block their monastery completely and still preserve the chance of getting my road meeple back. Okay, now we do get a really awkward tile. I could go here for defense, but it's only a 50-50 chance, and I just think that the 50-50 is simply not good enough. So well, although if we go here, we could entice them to meeple that piece and then equalize my city. How much do I care about being blocked here? Well, I do care a little bit. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. It is incredibly nasty. So the purpose of that move, strange though it may seem, is to set up a 4-point road in the event that I get the roads tile that fits here. And I also block off pretty much all field invasions. And with the majority on the field, I think I should be good even with the blocked meeple. I could now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 go here, but I'd rather just connect to the field. It's a bit of a sheepish looking move, but whatevs. Then, yeah, this was the problem with this idea, but I still do not regret my move. They're going to get all those points. We're going to each get a meeple back. I'm going to get a meeple back from my road. And then I'm going to have control over an 18-point field, which has just no access squares whatsoever. Oh, okay, they do this, which makes sense because it disallows me from drawing a splitter and freeing up my meeple, but they are sacrificing a boatload of points to do that. So I do get the 4 points for the road. I'm still 10 points ahead on the scoreboard. I'm 18 points ahead on the field. The field is very close to being impenetrable. There are some options how they could connect, but it is not impossible to block off completely. Very curious what they're going to do here. Are they just going to start a new... Yeah, I thought so. I thought they could do this. Now the question lies, are they going to drop a farmer? So what they could do, they could go here and connect to the field. And the question that I have about this, should I go here and block my own road just to deny them access to the field? And the answer, I think, is no. I just want to take the points here. And the reason for this is that there's still 2 road monasteries remaining. So there will be some ways into the fields potentially through one of these here squares. Okay, they meeple a road. And I am going to close off my field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and then do this. I know I'm helping their road a little bit. But the point of this move is that they now cannot get a road monastery. They will be completing this road, and that's fine. But I will be also getting myself a meeple back, and their completion of the road was not easily preventable. And if they do prolong their road, then their road is going to go inside this blocked here square. Now, I'm a bit concerned about this square. They could use it as a field invasion platform, like going over here and then drawing a crossroad tile. So soon I'll actually try to maybe block myself. But let's see, I'm still ahead on the scoreboard. I pick up these here 4 points. I have 5 points extra on the board. So very curious to see if they're going to go for the farmer idea here, or if they even see it. They don't. They just want to score 4 quick points, which I don't think is going to cut it for them. I have a fantastic monastery spot, which is quite easily completable. And even if it isn't, 6 points is pretty decent for a meeple at this stage of the game. They have an interesting move that they can play. They can go here with the city cap. And this city cap would restrict this square, and it would make it harder for me to block my own road and thus the field's connection spot. But to be honest, I don't think that they see that idea whatsoever. Or maybe they're just being patient. We'll find out soon enough. So they finish their loop road and start a city. And I get an immensely interesting tile. So I'm ahead 3 points on the scoreboard. And what exactly am I going to do here? First of all, I could go here and block their city. And it looks like a very strong move, because there aren't any dagger tile that fits into this square at all. I could also go here and take 4 points for the road. What I don't like about this move is that it saves this square and allows them to use for a field connection in the future. Because I really like the idea of just inboxing myself with these 18 points. You know what? I could also go for this move. Huh. That would set up another 4-point road and then make it harder for them to connect to the field. I also noticed that they can even do something like... Actually, no, they can't. Yeah, they can't actually use that square, this scarce square for connection. Basically, it's a bit too long to explain, but... Actually, no, it's not too long to explain. I have 20 seconds. So, if they get a starting tile, they could drop a farmer like this and connect over here, but there are no starting tiles available, so I don't have to worry about it. So I can just go safely and block their meeple, not allow them to run away with a nasty city. They now get a scoring tile, which they use, surprise, surprise, to score 4 points. And now it's very interesting. Do I even bother getting my road meeple back? And I think I do, because there's like one more tile that fits into the square. So I'm better off finishing my road simply to prevent them from going over here and dropping a farmer. And also I get to score a lot of points, so that's kind of nice. But then here's something else that I was afraid of, but they don't seem to care. I thought that they could go here and use this as a farming platform, but they don't, which in turn allows me to safely go here and eliminate that platform. How exactly do I go about this though? Do I go here preparing a loop road, or do I go here and just block off everything? This is surely tempting. You know what? I think this is the move, weird though it may seem. It is a move that blocks myself, but just because the field is so big, I don't think there's a way for me to lose if I just block the field, yeah. So I'm gonna go here and block the field entirely, and then I make sure that these 18 points are mine forever. And geometrically, it is now completely impossible to invade the field. So even though I'm really sacrificing a lot, when it comes to points, I'm also sacrificing a meeple. That block is just so potent that I don't think they have a way to win the game after this. Because the ruins just don't score enough. We have the same number of monasteries. I'm even setting up another monastery for myself just in case. They're trying to block it, of course. Now I need to check how many city caps there are. So there is the umbrella. There are no vanillas. There's a splitter. There's a vertical splitter. Well, that's at least 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No daggers, right? Oh no, there is a dagger. I think I counted. No daggers, no daggers. No starting tiles, obviously. 3 tiles, 3 tiles, 3 tiles. Is that worth it? Yeah, I reckon it is. So we go here, protect our monastery a little bit. And then we will be going to have 4 tiles that get us a meeple back. It's either the road monastery or one of the 3 remaining city caps, which means that it is virtually impossible for us not to get a meeple back at some point. They do get the umbrella, and I get the splitter and 8 points on top of that. Oh, or I can just draw both. That's even better. A Dorito tile for them. They're probably going to meeple a 6-point field, which is the best thing they can do. And this is exactly what happens. I get the nuts. And the score difference is going to be, again, quite big. So not representative of how close this game actually was. Let's see if they want to play... Let's see if they want to play a precise endgame, and they don't. If they could have saved 1 point by blocking the cities... Actually, no, this is not true. Yeah, because obviously I can score 4 points here, but I can also score 4 points for the ruin. So if their last endgame move didn't matter. And let's see what the point difference finally is. $25 points is the difference. And we get 4 rating points. So that's actually quite interesting. We had 2 wins and 1 loss today, but ended up losing rating points, because the higher your rating is, the more you get punished for losing games. So in the next episode, we're going to try not to lose games. We're going to learn some lessons, try to be more proactive with the farms, as we were in this game, by the way. So just wanted to point out a couple of moves. I think this one was a very important find, not only because it was setting up a scoring opportunity if we were to draw the quadruple row tile, but also to seal shut that field. That was so important, especially since after we had a blocked meeple over here, we were at meeple minority. We really want to avoid opening fields, because then our opponents could use their meeple majority to not only equalize and overtake it. And if they were to do that, they would score 18 points, and then they would score 18 points again for overtaking the field. So they would score 36, which is greater than the difference in... which is greater than the score difference at the end of the game. So that was super important. Now, the one dubious thing that I did was this attack over here. Here, this move was necessary simply not to allow my opponents to score some easy 14 points. The second move was a bit iffy. I could probably have done without it. But the idea was, well, first of all, if I'm successful, it's a lot of points. And then if I don't go there, then it's possible for them to go there. So this invasion move that I made was not so much about taking over the city, it was about preventing them from taking over that city. And I had a bit of a comfortable cushion on the scoreboard at that point, plus of course the dominance on the farms that allowed me to risk the fate of a meeple. So I think this one turned out quite okay. Anyway, and yeah, and our opponent was rated around 300. I think they play actually really well for this level. Well, maybe in the middle of the game when they already were behind, they could have maybe tried to go more aggressively after the field, perhaps, setting up some farming opportunities around the square. But then again, just because this field was so close to being sealed, it was actually quite difficult to penetrate with a red farmer. Oh yeah, and another also super important move, this one over here. It is so tempting and so natural to point the curve downwards. But if we point the curve downwards, it would leave field connection platforms from our opponent. So if we were to point the curve downwards, they can go over here, drop a farmer, and then connect through a vanilla city cap or something like this. And there were still multiple vanilla city caps available. So it was important to even sacrifice one more meeple, but just to make sure that the main game deciding feature in the shape of the 18-point field is completely impenetrable. And then even the quite lucky draws that I got toward the end were not even necessary, but they're still quite nice to have. Anyway, let's just go again to our page and view the current stats. So 566, we've moved a bit further away from our goal. We have 52 games played, 42 victories and 2 draws, because we started this series back when draws were still a thing in competitive Carcassonne. Since then, a few months ago, they implemented the change that now there are no draws. Whenever there's a draw, a win is awarded to the player who went second, which is the standard practice in competitive Carcassonne nowadays, at least in playoff situations. And there was one game which was abandoned. So this is the situation right now. Make sure to meeple the like button if you like this video and subscribe for more competitive Carcassonne content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.